Holy smoke. It's 12:30 and I've just... all I've done is picked up a few old bits of wire and a bit of scrap metal. And gone over to my parents and got a bit more cat food. Chicken mince. Oh, I'm having a bit of an issue getting going today. Oh, God. I had to crack open the old energy drink. Oh. Probably should be picked too, actually. Yeah, stuff it, I'll pick that. Oh, bingo, come off beautifully. You know they're ready to be picked when it's not hard to get them off and they just sort of fall off in your hand. So we're it's number 6. I sort of go from green to a bit of greenish at the top and then the whole lot starts to go sort of brown. I never actually go red. That's, you know, because of the variety, they never will go red. I've got this stuff in here. I think this is chickweed of some sort. That's the stuff that comes out with the nice little flowers. And I don't know if you can see it, but black bits in the purslane. The purslane is going to seed, which is groovy, because then I can go and bag up them seeds and actually plant some next year. I should get rid of some of the grass out of here. I'll get rid of the grass out of the other ones before. Yeah, one of those things I just sort of like... The Saturday when I demolished all this stuff, my father came over and was talking about being able to, you know, cut it on the right angle for the end of the weatherboards. And by the time all that transpired, you know, it was dark by the time I was painting this. If I have some big day the next day, I can't sleep properly in anticipation, and I was going to the Chinese New Year the next day, you know, and I was out here till 9:30 still painting. And then I was off again at you know, 7 o'clock that morning, and then come back from all that, just about bloody hit a brick wall up there. I was stuffed by about 3:30, 4 o'clock. I just, oh, geez, I don't just sit there. And then didn't sleep much for the anticipation of doing all this business tomorrow. And I was up at 7 o'clock. I was started on this by 20 past 7, and I went on this till 8:30 at night with the, what's his name, getting rid of the old paint with the cordless drill and the wire brush. And I got up this morning and holy smoke, you know, it was 10 o'clock or something, before 10:30, before I even got out of bed. And I just, you know, here we are, 12:30 now, and I'm still just... And anyway, hopefully with a bit of energy drink, I might be firing before long. I might actually do the washing first. I mean, you know, don't really need to, but I think I've overdone it with building-related stuff. You just get sick of it. My father's got back the big, what's his name, for the, like your axle housing for the loader, and he's got it over there, and he's the same, he's just about stuffed. He's, yeah, having an easy-ish day. He was going to try and go right through to midnight last night to try and put it on, and he just sort of, yeah, didn't, he knew it was going to be too much, so when I was over there before, he's got it all hanging up on a crane, all covered in plastic to keep any dust out. Surprisingly, it was bloody cheap for them to put in these bushes and all that had sort of, you know, little mounts for the bearings and all that. Only cost him $50 to get it all put in by all the big equipment and the engineers. And that was surprisingly cheap. He thought it was going to be a few $100s. So yeah, one of those things though, you can go a little bit too hard on it, and then you sort of just like hit a brick wall. And I just, you know, every day that I have a big day the next day, I cannot sleep with anticipation. And the trouble is, every day I go to start a new job, I get the same thing. I can't sleep the night before my first day on a new job. That's really not good. And they sort of, you know, you got the excuse, oh, well, it's your first day, sort of thing. You're liable to bungle things up, but half the time the reason I do is because I only slept 4 hours the night before the first day on the job, which is the first day on a new job, which is not good. But anyway, I might just do the washing just to take my mind off all the blooming building stuff, and then go back to trying to, yeah, just put in these few battens and crap, and then get on to the actual painting. Alrighty. Wood heater's smoking quite a bit. I don't know what's on with that, because it's been a while since I put anything in it. Anyway, I got this one in. I ran the wire brush over all that before I actually put it up. Got all these up and sorted, and I've just brushed them down and whacked an extra screw in that because it was a bit shonky. You'll notice that one's that height, that one's that height, and that one's a bit lower. That is actually the longest out of a lot of them, but it's lowest down, which doesn't really make sense. But if it wasn't down there, I wouldn't have got it in for the blasted pipe here. See, all this and that was an old tank of my father's, and all this business was sort of strung up by my uncle, but just with bits of wire, and it all didn't really work, so I had to put it together a bit more properly. Put that little end piece on there, because then it just used to keep flowing straight over at the end onto the roof here. Originally, the tank was there, where that concrete was, and they got some big rocks that they've put down and then dropped the concrete on top, and it's unfortunately, like about a quarter of it on that side is actually split off. I think you see the crack there. That was the original one. One on the other side, that's been there since about 99, I suppose. We bought that in 94? Yeah. Shit. That's like a 21, 22-year-old tank. You can see why I don't really intend to continue using that tank after I redo the roof. If I redo the roof, which is sort of looking a bit doubtful now. Anyway, there's a lot of leaves and shit in it, and as I said, you know, steel tank, 20 years old, ain't much life in it regardless. But yeah, I got up there and wiped all that down, got the old thing on, got it pretty dirty. Wiping all that down. A lot of that's just scuff marks and stuff I can't really get off. But yeah, the main lumps of dirt that were on there are all off now, and we are ready for paint, which is sitting over there. And yeah, I've got to go ahead and try and get 2 coats of paint on as the sun's starting to fade away. Oh, finally got motivation, but it was only by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon that I really started to feel a bit clearer in the head after having a bit of lunch, and then, yeah, took off like a friggin' rocket. So anyway, I'll get to painting all this crap. I'll go and see what's going on with this, because that's sort of... I haven't thrown any wood in it for a while yet. It's smoking like I just have, but I haven't really stuck in anything significant. Anyway, I did put one of those ones out of the front here in, and it wasn't terribly warm when I went in there either, so... yeah, I had to get on with it. Kitty walking over the chicken wire on top of the mint. It's like the sun goes down and the kittens just bang, all become active, they're all running all over the place. You're nocturnal animals, ain't you, bud? Another kitty on the edge. And there's a black kitty coming up. We can't see you very well, can you, black kitty? You're just as dark as everything else, ain't you, honey? Yeah, I love the smell of this, all the blooming flowers coming out on it. They're lovely, sort of a soft purple colour, the flowers on it. Beautiful smell. This is chocolate mint. Smells like chocolate mint. Tastes like normal mint. Don't fall off, bud. Don't fall off. Don't get too close to the edge, buddy. They're licking the water off just because I watered them all. Yeah, right, little cutie pie. Unfortunately, there's a light misting, sort of a rain. Bit annoying. I can't paint this, really. So, I don't know, I might have to go and have a look at the computer and see what the radar's showing for all the rain and whatnot. Don't really want to paint it because it, might not quite dry as good as it could. I got one coat on this last night, all under headlamp light. Yeah, so I'm drying a bit more washing. I'll go and slice some of this crap up. I might just work on getting some of the rubbish out of here. I love to paint, but I just, I don't want to find out it's got to rain harder and friggin' wash half of it off or make it all streaky or something stupid. And if it's going to do that, well, might have to be a tomorrow job, which is unfortunate because I've still got to do that and then put the, what's his name on, bloody roof sheets on at least up to the middle. Yeah, and make another flashing for all this business as well. Yeah, anyway. Walking around picking up bits of wire. It's funny having the same spot 100 bloody times and still find big chunks of wire. Found some more interesting things. I don't know exactly what that is, but I do know it's made in England. I'm sure you guys know what that is. I've got a lot of odd old tools that just appear around here. And, yeah, probably find out it's some friggin' thing dealing with weeds or something. Yeah. There's shit on this side. Looks rusting a little bit. It's sort of facing that way down, so that's probably why it's a bit rusted there. Old pin. Should know what this is off. But, we sometimes keep stuff like this and weld just a little bit of bar on the top. And then when you tow trailers or slashes or whatever with the tractor, you can use this because it's guaranteed good steel. It's probably something to do with some friggin', like a shaft between, pulleys or something like that. Don't think it's a lathe piece. There has been a lot of lathe pieces come up, especially under there originally. There's friggin' stainless steel bits for holding, lathe tools and every damn accessory you could dream of. Out of a smaller lathe, all flung on the opposite side of this tree and sort of around there, just in the friggin' dirt. Tell you what, when it come to lack of respect for bloody tools, my uncle was a ripper. My father would come over here and find his spanners laying out in the grass in the friggin' dew, and he'd wonder where it had gone. My uncle had borrowed it without even saying anything. And this one too, pick head. I don't know how they managed, but they bent the friggin' end of the thing on that end, but the water in there is looking pretty good. Anyway, just a couple more random bits of crap I'm picking up out of the soil. Here we go, another bit of sheet metal. Shit just keeps coming up like this all the damn time, and I'll never cease to amaze me how many bits, even over this side where the truck was, God, you rip out some massive hunks. Big bits of cast iron stuff and just, you just sort of, one day I'll have to get somebody around here with a metal detector and go around and just try and get some of the larger pieces, especially the big hunks like the, giant bolts and the friggin' axe heads and all the other random shit, that keeps appearing. A whole bunch of these. I might as well show you these anyway. Don't think I've shown you previously. something or other painted. That's a nail with a lead head on the thing. That's a lot of what the veranda's done with. And then there's those screws you see there, some of which you got lead washers, but for some reason they've got steel washers on the veranda and lead washers on the actual house roof. But there's plenty of these nails in the middle sections of the veranda, and the screws they tend to use for the end one in the main beam. And you can sort of break them out. And I might do that and chuck them all in my lead stack. I've got a lead stash with old batteries and a lot of the other things I've found around here that are, you know, lead bits and pieces and lead washers and random crap like that. That's one of the washers there. That's pretty badly bent. Most of them are more flat, but that's one of the ones with one of those little screws from there that's gone through it. I was fixing up some of the roof, you know, putting in the proper ones with the rubber seals, and used to try and throw them off the end of the veranda, but half the time they'd land on the veranda roof, so I've plucked out quite a few of those off the veranda roof as I was taking it down. I reckon you could come along here with a scraper and you could scrape off the top several inches and you'd find so much stuff, it'd be unbelievable. And even when we had all this here, like, we scraped all this with a front end loader and we were down, shit, more than 8 inches, and we were still finding full bottles, and you'd come along and the front of the loader bucket would actually break off the full bottle, you know, like cut it in half more or less, and it'd be all sort of half shattered, and you'd have this half of a hollow bottle still under the ground. You just think, like, we're going like 8 inches, 10 inches down, and we're still plucking out shit like this, and it's like, how deep does this stuff go? You know, but I reckon if you skim the top lemon 18 inches, you'd probably have everything there was to get, but you'd have a bloody lot of stuff. And then you would have turned under half of your, what's his name? Half of your blooming grass seeds would now be too deep under the ground, and all your topsoil would have been all chucked underneath as a result. But anyway, it's just, you know, this is what you get with 100 years of no one giving a shit and no garbage collection service, so to speak. And everything during the Depression, they'd have to keep everything. Add to that only 12 years of my uncle chucking stuff here, and like, honestly, you would have thought every single day he's here, he would have got another shopping bag full of shit and thrown it down for every day of those 12 years. There was that much shit that was just left by him, you know, and yeah, anyway, somebody's going to clean up, and it seems as though I'm it. Now, I was going to get this nail out. There's a bit of wood going across here, a bit of pine, and coming down from the roof the other day, taking the flashings off, I didn't miss my step on the ladder. I just put one foot in the wrong place and went straight through this rotten bit of wood. The nail was still there holding it though. I thought I'd just nip it off with a cordless angle rod. I thought, nah, stuff it, you got a hammer. Take it off with a hammer. Fucking shit-ass Chinese hammers. This fucking thing. Good old fiberglass crappo $5 hammers. If that was an Estwing, that wouldn't have happened because that'd be steel instead of crappy fiberglass. I have to get the... I was doing this as well where you can't get the damn nail off the damn thing. It's been doing that a little bit. Anyway, looks like I might have to get the angle on after all. Thankfully, I've got at least 3 hammers, so... Well, I'm back to 2 now, but anyway, so bloody what. Praying mantis doing that whole jerky walk thing like some stick insects do. Oh, now you're seeing the camera. Little heads follow me. Well, I'm rumbling along with this. I've sort of done a lot of the underneath and the sides of all the beams here, and now I'm going along doing the top, and the edges of the battens as well. Yeah, I'm reasonably good with a roller. I worked out you can use the end like a brush, but all the same, God blimey, this takes a long time. And yeah, if I had a spray gun, it would be done a lot quicker, but then I'd have solar panels covered in shit as well. So anyway, once we got all that sorted, from basically this post on, needs a second coat, so I might actually leave that till later, or last actually, let it dry fully. I'll keep working on the battens along here. Then I've got to get into that bit, then I've got to work out a bit of sheet metal to sort of just make up your very top of your triangle up there. Then, yeah, we should be alright. I might then try and put the flashings in and start putting the sheets on it. It's blowing a bit and the sheets are out in the paddock, so yeah, we might have to start bringing them in and getting ready for all that. I may very well just go up on the roof and trim all that off like I was intending to and re-put the flashings on. I don't think it's going to rain significantly. It has tried little spits and spats about twice while I've been out here, but nothing more than just put a few dibbles in the paint, and that's actually one you can thin down with water, so effectively it's not really going to affect anything, and it hasn't. But yeah, it's not so great trying to carry in roof sheets with this sort of wind, so I'll probably end up doing the flashings first, and hell, I might just go and finish off a bit of that, because there's a few things I can do on that. And if the wind dies down later on or whatever, get the sheets in. And yeah. Anyway, it may be a case of going and get the... Stop fighting, you two little turds. Be a case of going and get the trailer and loading them in that with a few rocks and then bringing them in. I don't need a great deal, but it's a lot safer to do it that way, because the trailer's got sides and they won't blow away and they won't go flying around, because when you try and hang onto a piece like this in the wind, it's not terribly great. If you hang on to a bit bigger, it's just fucking chaos sometimes. And yeah. What are you doing, little grumpies? Be good kitties! Snoozy kitty. They seem to be sleeping a bit lately. I don't know if it's the warmth or what. Anyway, I have just done all that. Just got to do my last patch on top from here, back. And we are done, and I can clean this out and go have some bloody lunch. I come out here to get the ladder to get on the roof to put the flashing back on, as it's cooling off a bit. And there's ants running around with, not eggs, but the white juvenile ants after they hatch, but they're still in a state of suspended animation, or whatever you want to call it, where they basically don't move. And I followed them down to this post, and I couldn't work out exactly where they were coming from. Look at that. Friggin' ants coming out of a hole there. Going in and out of another hole. There goes one out of the hole, another one. Yeah. I don't bloody believe it. As far as I know, there's no such thing as carpenter ants in this country. They just don't exist. I know there's termites. We call them white ants. And hell, you know, they're definitely around. There's quite a lot of them up in the forest, further up, but it seems as though there might be ants inside this. And this is the same one, unfortunately, that I've got the solar cables on that I'm going to take off. But yeah, once I replace this, another friggin' old lead paint, and there's all sap and shit. I don't know if you can see that too well. All old sap and shit all oozed out of the damn thing over the years. Some sort of a bit of a change in the grain right there. But it seems as though this is home to a friggin' ant nest. I'm not saying it's carpenter ants, they look like sugar ants. But I've never really known them to have a nest inside this. Having said that, it doesn't mean that borers, which are in this house, even in that friggin' tree, haven't eaten this out at an earlier date. Because these posts were here in the 1920s, I know that for a fact. And then these things have just decided to make use of the holes left behind from the borers. Maybe. Just maybe. Quite remarkable anyway. They seem to be coming in and out around here too. Let's pull that back. Oh, I upset a few. Oh, there's probably shadow underneath this. I don't think there's any holes here. Yeah. Weird shit, eh? They go right way along there. She should follow them where they go. I thought at first they're coming out the joint here, and then they did this one, and then I realised they're running right across. Continue on. No, who knows? They're going down inside into the veranda, I think. Yeah, who knows? See another one running randomly. Just like right there. Who knows? We have a nest elsewhere. What do you reckon, Black Kitty? Hmm? Well,